Hello my friends, it's Kim. As requested, I'm doing a garden tour today. As you can see in front of the garden itself, there used to be a very long flower bed. Well, unfortunately, over the last year, it got invaded by an extremely invasive weed. We tried everything we could. I dug them out several times, but it's the kind of weed that if you leave the tiniest bit of root in the ground, it actually multiplies faster. So I did dig it out. I was very careful to separate out my plants from the roots, those that I could save anyway, and I replanted them elsewhere in the yard. I'll show you briefly. It needs to be weeded a little bit. I put some things by that. That's our well there, but the rocks, I put it by the rocks. I surrounded that big rock there, that big rock there, and then I have some fruit trees, small fruit trees over there that I put flowers around. And eventually the side of my barn will be covered in, they look like, they're called cut leaf cone flowers, and they look kind of like little sunflowers, and they get about 6 feet tall. So I thought they'd be really pretty there. I did put some on the outside of the garden away from that area because there was so many iris and daylily, because they pretty much could take the weed interference that I did, I had a lot of those left over. But here's the garden itself. We'll start in the entrance here. Over here, everything in pots. Those, I'm just babysitting those. A friend of mine is building a tiny house in my backyard, and I have them in here so that we can make sure they're looked after. This is one of the plants, I don't know what it's called, but it's really cool, that I was able to save. And this here, this vine is a kiwi, not the kind we're used to seeing in the grocery store. This makes they're about the size of a large grape, and they don't have the fuzz on the outside, but they're supposed to be some type of kiwi. And they come back in Michigan, so I'm excited to try it. Any kind of new fruits makes me really happy. This is what started the whole garden thing, because I wanted to save this plant here. My daughter gave it to me. I don't know what it's called, I can't remember, but it has these really pretty blue flowers pretty soon. This is what they make stevia out of. Now, where they sell it here, they call it sweet herb, but that's a stevia. And my strawberry tub is looking really nice. I have little baby strawberries all over the place, here and here, so I'll get a few this year. As you can see, I put some of the flowers on the inside of the garden along that fence there, where I was able to dig out a bunch of those roots, and hopefully they don't take over too fast. In this garden bed here, I put arches on all of my beds. I don't know how well you could see them in the video. They're from when I had my pigs. They're hog panels, and I just put them up everywhere so that each bed has a chance for me to put climbing vines and things like that, because of course it gives you more room in your garden. But in here, I had a volunteer potato come up, so I let it do its thing. These are called rampinos, I believe. They're a large squash that you can eat like a summer squash, but if you let them go until the fall, they will store like a winter squash. So I'm really excited. That's new to me this year to try. I have some right here. I have 3 in here. These are a bush miniature butternut squash. Well, I hope I get some this year because I really love the butternut squash. And I tried over here in this bed. I have planted 3 times, 3 different packs of butternut squash, and not a single one has come up in this bed. I don't know why. So we'll see what happens. But I did, my neighbor gave me a bunch of purple potatoes, and you can see they're starting to sprout up in here. I just planted these a couple days ago. And so at least something's growing in this bed. I don't know why my butternut squash won't do anything in here. It's driving me crazy because I was really counting on having some of that for winter this year. My carrots are doing really fantastic. Believe it or not, those have been thinned out. They don't look like it. The beans in here, this is an experiment because I don't know what kind. It's a black bean, straight from the grocery bag. I just planted a bunch in here. I wanted to see, I don't know if they're a bush type or a vine type. So some of them are up to the cattle panel here, or hog panel. And some of them I put as a bush. If these happen to grow up into a vine, I will figure something out with like a teepee or something to let them grow up. I do have onions in here. Now these tall ones were actually just the bottoms off of a grocery store onion, or ones that I had from the winter. So I'm just going to see, I see one starting to go to seed. Maybe I'll get some seeds out of it. If I don't get anything, that's okay, because I forgot to tell you, surrounding this bed entirely, my neighbor also gave me a bunch more onions. So I have onions. I completely went around each bed, this one and the carrot one, and I think another one with the onion sets, because I figured, you know, maybe the onion smell will keep some of the bugs away. These are regular bush beans here. And of course my tomatoes, I planted those purposely. I want those to go up on the arch. I figured that's a good place for them. They won't take up as much room. And in here I have a couple little sweet potato starts. It was just one that started to sprout in my pantry, so I grew some slips on it this year, so I'm going to try them. That's new to me. I love sweet potatoes, so we'll see how we do. Now come over to this side. This side here needs a little cleaning, as does everything in here every day. I have more tomatoes. This side, I believe, is my paste tomatoes, the San Marzanos. I have more sweet potatoes in here, quite a few. As you can see, I was able to get, I don't know, 6 or 7 slips off of it. This in the middle, I don't know how well you can see it. That is a purple asparagus. I just picked it yesterday, so there's nothing on it. But that, oh, I see my tomatoes on the other side are starting to get some blooms already. I picked one called 4th of July, and they do pretty good coming early in the year. Now this is another bed I've been having a little bit of problems with. My cucumbers, at first they were doing extremely well. Actually so thick in here I was going to have to thin them out. And now I'm down to 2. I don't know what's going on. It's the same soil I use everywhere. But I also see that my calendula, or calendula, I don't know if I'm saying it right or wrong, they're starting to sprout. From that weed-infested bed over there, I transplanted my large asparagus. I've been eating on that now for about a month. And again, cucumbers, they were very thick in there. I'm going to replant those in about 2 weeks, so in case these die off, I'll still have cucumbers. Opposite of this, I need to definitely harvest, is my spinach bed. They have gone absolutely crazy this week. Between the heat and the rain, they have gone crazy. Last year I dehydrated a bunch, and I'm going to do the same so I have it for winter, because I could see they are starting to go to seed in some spots, so I need to harvest those ASAP. I have a few peas. Again, the peas didn't do great this year, which really bums me out. I love snap peas. We'll see how those, what I get off of those, and I'll try to plant some more late in the summer. But if I get some, it's better than none. And then I have another type of squash in here. You can see it right there. That's called Buttercap, I believe. Buttercup. No. Yeah, Buttercup. I keep getting it wrong. It's my friend's favorite squash, and it's pretty good. It's very, very sweet. So I have 3 of those in there. And over here, let me take the cover off briefly here. I have all of my cabbage and broccoli under here. This is to help keep the white butterflies off of it, because they lay their eggs and then the caterpillars eat your leaves, and they can destroy a plant really fast. So that's just a lightweight row cover. It works best for me, and hopefully I'll get lots of broccoli. I have broccoli, cabbage, and kohlrabi in there, and a couple of sweet peas. So we'll see. We'll see. And then I have, this is my arbor that I saved. This is where my grapes are. This used to be a decorative, I don't know, archway, entryway to the back door of my house. And the post had rotted off, so it was falling down. And instead of trashing it, I thought it was kind of cool. The guy that we bought the house from was a farrier, and he made this. He welded it together, and I just thought it was pretty cool. I didn't want to waste it, so I put my grapes on it. They're doing pretty good. Over here, now this giant plant here you'll see throughout my garden, this is comfrey. Comfrey is a very good, it accumulates minerals and stuff from deep in the soil. Let me warn you though, if you're going to plant it, it will never die off. It's another one that, this is a bunching kind, so it doesn't spread like this other stuff that's taken over my garden. But the bees absolutely love it. So I use it as both it's called a dynamic accumulator. I chop it down once the flowers go away a little bit, and I load up my compost piles with it. I will mulch around my plants with it because it's also a good living mulch for the rest of the plants. I'll come over here. I still have my blueberry plants are looking pretty good this year. I have 3 of those. Now this stuff here, I have dug every single one out. This is the second invasive plant I have in this area. I have no clue what it is, but if you leave the tiniest root in the ground, I swear you dig it out and it comes back worse than before. I have been fighting this for years. My last resort is Roundup, although I have never used that in near any of my food plants. To be honest, I just kind of do what I can with it, and when it gets too tall, I just mow it down because I would really prefer not to use any chemicals. I've never used chemicals in my gardens. In 40 plus years of gardening, I don't use chemicals, and I really don't want to start now. But what I'll do is later I'll come in here, and these great big ones that are too close to my blueberry here, these will get dug out, and I will just keep fighting it that way. This is a tiny little lone survivor of my hostas. I used to have some beautiful hostas. I moved that here. That was getting suffocated out. Let's see. I had some blueberry. Oh, I think I'm getting little. Yep, I got little dinky blueberries started. Maybe I can get a couple this year. And I moved a couple of my other plants back to this corner, my flowers. Some that like a shadier environment. This row here is raspberries. It was supposed to be one called Anne, which is a yellow raspberry. I have planted the yellow, quote, raspberries 3 or 4 times, and they're not yellow here. They're red. They're the picky ones. They have the thorns on them. And I thought it was the yellow ones, and now I'm just allowing this one row to thrive. I do mow them off so they stay in this area because they do produce a raspberry late in the fall. It's like in September I could come out here and get raspberries. They're not as flavorful as my other ones, but they're still a raspberry. Raspberries and berries are my favorite fruits, so I kind of keep it controlled here as best I can. This is my thornless blackberry area. They're starting to finally get some nice leaves on them. I dug these up from my daughter's house. These do not have thorns, but they will easily get at least 10 feet tall. So I have them on another arch here so I can let them grow up and over. I'll weave them in and out through, and hopefully I will be able to get some blackberries. Maybe this year a few, and then next year I should get lots of them. And like I said before, I came through and I dug out every single one of these things, and look at how bad they are. So I just have to learn to live with it and mow them down. I'll probably come out here in a couple of days and mow everything down again so I don't have to see them. This here is my raspberry patch. You can see this whole area. These are thorn-free, thornless raspberries. They are delicious. I have been growing these since the late 90s, 1990s. I can't believe I have to say that now. And I moved them from one house to the next, and I just keep kind of moving them. You'll see a couple that look kind of sad in there. I just moved those, had grown into that area that got the invasive weeds. So I just moved them in here. And once I know what's going to die off, I'll come back and trim those off. But that's it. That's pretty much the whole garden. If you have any questions about it, let me know. I really enjoy my gardens and do the best I can with them, but it's a never-ending battle, as you know, if you garden at all. The weeds, I come out here every day and I go through my little beds, and I just weeded this like 3 days ago, and there's weeds again. So you just come out and work at it a little bit each day, 1 or 2 beds, and get the weeds out and enjoy when the fruits of your labor finally start coming in. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed my garden tour, and you guys have a wonderful day.